Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Captain's Log, the show devoted to discussions and insights into pop culture with an emphasis on cinema in the occasional themed episodes. This is your captain speaking, Jose Valle, and it's time for us to begin our transmission. Tonight we have a special show devoted to giving you the definitive Halloween movie list, what you must watch and what you can skip. Joining me tonight is my guest and fellow Media Club member, Mason Shrader. Mason, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
You can call me first mate then?
Yeah,
Am I your first guest?
You are my first guest, yeah.
Then I think I would be your first mate, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then first mate, Mason.
That's correct, yeah.
Why don't you tell us about your interests, like what you're doing here at William Penn, your year?
So I'm a junior here at William Penn. I'm a Digicom major, as you know. And I like making little movies and stuff.
With each movie on the list, we will tell you the information about it in a quick summary, and then give you our thoughts on it and decide whether it's a scare or, you know,
I'm gonna say whether it's a thrill or a kill.
Oh, there we go. That's good. I couldn't think of anything, so what I have written down is it's a scare or not a scare.
So if it's a thrill, it's thrilling, it's great. Go watch it. And if it's a kill it. Don't watch it, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically, it's whether or not they add to the spookiness or the ominous feeling of Halloween, and not whether or not they're good films. Like, that's not what we're going to be judging. It's whether or not you need to watch them during the season. The list was assembled from various different lists put together by the likes of 17, Elle, Time, and Esquire, and then from suggestions taken from friends. So let's dive in.
that suggestions from friends, that's where the list just
goes down, and it's weird.
It's got like the highest movies of all time, and then it's just like 80s B movies.
That's pretty much it. So the first one is Paranormal Activity, which was, and this is just the first film. A lot of these are franchises, but I chose to just pick the first one because I think, you know,
it started the franchise.
Right.
You wouldn't have a franchise without the first one.
Exactly. So the first one is Paranormal Activity, which was directed by Oren Peli and released in 2009. The plot of this is pretty simple. I think. So it's this girl and her boyfriend. There's weird stuff going on in their house, so they decide to set up cameras and record what's going on. Spooky stuff happens. Lots of things move.
Some paranormal activity.
There you go. Wow. Yeah, you could say that. What is the main character's name again? It's not Katie, is it?
Yeah, Katie.
Okay.
Katie Featherston.
Katie and
is
Mika?
the actress's name. And she plays Katie, is just what she's listed.
Oh, okay. IMDb. That's really creative.
Oh, and then Micah Sloat, who is the male lead.
Right.
Is he? Well, okay, we'll get into it later. He plays Micah, so they didn't really get super hard.
Well, I think the reason they did that is because this came out 2009, and they tried to advertise it as it was real found footage. Well, so they just named the characters after the actors to be
Here's my thing. This movie is an excellent example of making something on like no budget, basically. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this was made on the effects are so simple.
Right.
But honestly, it's a genius idea as far as the first one goes.
Right. Do you think it's a thrill or a kill?
Okay. If this were, because it's 2018, right?
Now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this came out in 2007. In 2007, I think it would probably get a thrill. But because it's 10 years later, and there's been so many movies, like copycat movies of this movie right here, mm-hmm. I think it's got to be a kill. I don't think anything is like original feeling in it anymore.
Right.
And I mean, it's not its fault. It made the genre. But I mean, at this point, it's like there's no point. If you haven't seen Paranormal Activity, I'm sure you've seen at least one other movie that's just like it.
Well, yeah, and like Mason said, I do have to give props to them because they did spawn like 5 other films, which the quality 5 other
films
is,
of the same name,
right?
Countless films,
and also they
like that you see like that those like trick films,
yeah,
in like a video stores that are like ghost activity that like you rent thinking it's Paranormal Activity. You're like, oh, I heard about this, and then you get it and it's not. It's not the right movie.
But I mean, I think when I first watched it as a kid and I didn't know, like, I remember I actually believed it was real.
Yeah.
I was
That's
tricked.
fair. Yeah, I mean, it's because it's grounded.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like half the it's a slow burn. It starts out with the movie. It's just like the pool cleaner keeps getting popped out of the pool or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, is this all the powerful this ghost is?
But but I would agree with Mason that it's a kill.
Yeah.
I don't think
absolutely.
I don't think it's a thrill. There are much better found footage films that you could watch.
You know, I was just thinking we should have, if we had done this thrill and kill thing earlier, you would have a button you could press right now that was like a Wilhelm scream, like that. Yeah, and then like some music tones, but.
The next one is Zombieland, which was directed by Ruben. I'm gonna mess this up. Fleischer, and it was released in 2009. It stars good old
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, and
Emma Stone.
Woody
Harrelson. And Abigail Breslin.
Right. So 3 of those I've heard a lot of.
Yeah, and Breslin I think you'll probably hear more of as the time goes on. She was just really young. I mean, she was played like a 13-year-old or something, if I remember correctly.
The plot of this one is it's pretty simple. It's it's a zombie movie, so it picks up after the world's gone to crap and zombies.
Before actually, it shows you that bit where Jesse Eisenberg is like with a girl or whatever. Because like his whole thing in this movie is like brushing a girl's hair behind her ear or something.
That's right. Yeah.
But like so he's like with a girl or whatever on a date when the zombies attack. Yeah, I mean it's a good movie.
Yeah, so then the plot is, it's post-apocalyptic world. Jesse Eisenberg meets up with Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin, and they embark on shenanigans, and they are trying to
and so they're all
get safe.
The apocalypse has been happening for a while, so no one trusts each other. Everyone's very like wary of each other. There's some pretty actually good character arcs or whatever. I don't want to spoil it because I'm getting the feeling this is going to be a thrill for me. But without spoiling it, Woody Harrelson's character is like much deeper than he lets on.
Yes, that's I remember at the time because it gave us the great like meme of he really wanted Twinkies and you thought like
that and the dabbing his eyes with the money or whatever. Yeah.
But I remember thinking at the time when it was revealed, what was revealed about his character, I remember I was like, oh, wow, this was before I really understood movies, and I was like, that's really cool that, like...
It's a hard punch wrapped in a soft movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's harder things, but for the tone of this movie, which it's a comedy. I don't know if we didn't mention that. This is a comedy. It's light, it's fun, but it's got some emotion to it. And
so then, Mason, for you, is it a thrill or is it a kill?
I'm gonna say this is a thrill, but I'm gonna say you're having a Halloween movie night. As you do. This is the first movie you play, or the last one. It's either the first or the last one.
That's what I was gonna say. It adds to the Halloween feeling because the makeup and like the zombie effects was pretty good, and it's got its good share of jump scares, but then also it's funny, and so it's like something that you can. Yeah, it's like
I think
it's a wholesome.
Not everyone showed up for the party yet. You just throw it on. It's got the Halloween theme-ish and feel to it. It doesn't feel overdone to me. I mean, zombies are probably overdone.
Yeah.
But I think this does it well enough that it kind of escapes that. So you watch it on the beginning of the night. Everyone gets settled down. You watch a more serious movie, or you just watch 2 or 3 terrifying movies. You throw this on. It's a good palate cleanser at the end of the night. It's still got that Halloween feel, but it makes you feel good as a person and not terrified.
And it's funny.
Yeah, it is. It's funny.
It's a funny
Woody
movie.
Harrelson's great. I mean, it's great. All of it's great.
All right, next one we've got Scream, which was directed by Wes Craven.
That's right.
And not Wes Anderson, as I had written in here. And it was released in 1996. Now, the storyline of this is a girl played by Neve Campbell, Sidney Prescott. She's harassed harassed by this masked killer who is going around killing her friends pretty much, and he calls her all the time, and he says really creepy stuff, which, really creepy.
No, I mean, you're right.
Yeah, and I think that's the basic. It's a slasher film.
A year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a new killer who targets the girl and her friends by using horror films as part of the deadly game.
Right.
That was my memory. I didn't read that off of.
Oh wow, that's really impressive, Mason.
But no, I mean, I would say Scream is. This is a hard one for me because it was a pioneer, much like Paranormal Activity. I would even say it's a better movie than Paranormal Activity.
Yes, I would
But it's
agree.
also that one that, well, because to me it's like, because they parodied Scream in one of the Scary movies.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that was so successful as a parody that it surpassed Scream in pop culture.
Which is funny because Scream was originally supposed to be titled Scary Movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that. It's neat because it's meta. I like meta things where like it's talking about horror movies.
Yeah.
You know, the killer like calls the girl,
And
you know,
he's like, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
Yeah.
And I guess this isn't really a spoiler. I'm going to spoil that anyway. But the beginning with Drew Barrymore's character,
yeah,
he calls her up and then he's asking her all these questions and he's got her boyfriend. Is it Drew Barrymore or is it?
Oh yeah, no, Drew Barrymore's
Yeah,
in there.
she's-
Sorry,
yeah.
I was incorrect.
She's like the first kill in the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
But he calls her up and he's got her boyfriend and he's like, I'll spare him if you answer like this movie trivia. And she answers a bunch and then finally gets to the last one and he's like, who was the killer in the original Friday the 13th? And she's like, Jason Voorhees. And he's like, no, you idiot.
It's incorrect.
You dunce.
It's
It was the mother, you fool.
it was all along.
Yeah. And so
So we just spoiled that movie, but it's
So
not on the list, so it's okay.
actually it is.
Well, if you hadn't said it, it wouldn't have been. But now I
Oh,
guess
come
we have
on.
to
It's
do it.
in 1980 if you haven't.
That's true. We'll try our best not
Right.
to spoil these movies.
But I liked Scream because, like you said, I think it was a game changer because of the time when it came out, slashers had been overdone so much that
That's
they
true.
kind of become a laughingstock. And you had,
That's true.
I mean, and the original Halloween is great, but all the ones that followed after and
It's
all the ones that
fair,
followed
that's
after
fair.
Friday
Yeah,
the
yeah.
13th and Nightmare on Elm, so it'd been done, and it was just all these studios crapping out more and more
because they were
sequels.
cheap. Horror
Right.
movies, for the most part, especially slashers, they're cheap and easy to do.
Right, because it's fake blood and
I mean, that's and just some creative
Yeah.
camera shots to get away with
And so-
stabbing and things.
yeah, and so I thought I like Scream because it was different and it changed it up, and then it kind of brought the slasher genre back on its feet.
Mm-hmm.
I think there have been better ones since, but also I think this is Wes Craven at being Wes Craven, and that's
Yeah,
what I
I
really
mean-
like about. I really like the first one. I think the sequels are
Yeah, I mean, which one's got Matthew
But-
Lillard in it?
It's this one, the first one. Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
plays Stu.
I love Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, he's so
Lillard or
good.
Lillard?
Lillard.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I shouldn't.
He's
He's
just-
like this weird character actor
Yeah.
that kept hanging out with Freddie Prinze or whatever.
Yeah, and then they did Scooby Doo.
No, not Freddie Prinze. That's his name in Scooby Doo, right?
No, that's his name, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Fred Prinze. Yeah,
Yeah,
him. He's
he
great.
also played Fred. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I love Matthew Lillard. What can
So
I say?
I don't know. For me, I think it's gonna be a thrill just because it's a classic slasher and it's a well done slasher, and also it literally is about it's meta. It's like you said. It's all about like Halloween and
That's
horror
true, yeah.
movies. So I think it's one that you've got to watch.
All right, I'm gonna give it just because we don't have a third person to break the tie. I'm gonna agree with you and give it a thrill, but this is gonna be a lower tier
Okay.
thrill for me.
So it's like a thrill, not a
It's like-
thrill.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
very good inflection.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right, I'm with you.
Next up is Halloween, directed by John Carpenter and released in 1978. I just watched the new one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean they're all good. I gotta just stop saying they're good, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I've done that for 4 movies now.
So the plot of Halloween is Michael Myers. He
He was a troubled youth.
was a troubled youth
He got in trouble for killing his sister.
when he was 6.
He went to a mental hospital, and then he returned
When he was 23,
to his small town of Haddonfield
and then
to kill again.
he killed 5 teens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's like it's a classic.
I think it's a classic, and I think it's one of the better. Well, technically, this is like the introduction to the slasher genre because it came before Nightmare on Elm. It came before Friday the 13th.
It's true.
So it's what really like after this. I mean, it had been done before, but not on a major scale here in the
Did
United
we mention
States.
it was directed by John Carpenter?
Yeah, John Carpenter.
Who is a phenomenal,
Yes.
I mean, horror director.
Well, and then to add to that, he also produced the score for this movie,
Oh, did he really?
which is like insane.
It's
he
neat,
was
yeah.
not only just the director, but he gave us one of the most iconic movie themes of all time.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great.
Which I'd never watched the film until like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But as a kid, whenever I heard the Halloween like theme, it made me like scared.
There's that. Have you seen that fantastic new video of it's like a department store display of like Michael
Myers.
Myers. I wanted to say Michael Moore, not him. Scary though, political
Yeah,
commentary.
yes.
Michael Myers is like he's like doing the stab thing or whatever, and like the score is playing, and there's this like little toddler girl who's like just dancing along with it. It's adorable. It's great.
But I think it's a phenomenal film because Carpenter introduced us to the slasher film, but he did a lot with not a lot. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
There's hardly any gore in the movie.
Yeah.
And
I mean, classic staple of horror movie.
Right.
Low budget, too.
Yeah, I think it was like on a budget of like 300 and something or 600.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't that. It was about $300,000,
okay.
which isn't bad. But it made
but for its time, that was, I mean, that's like Evil Dead was also on a budget of 300 and something. Yeah. But, and he filmed it all in 21 days, which is crazy. And but they had hired him to like just make this like cheap slasher film, and then he made Halloween.
All of this is correct. Mm-hmm. You're completely right.
Right.
None of it equals a thrill for me.
Really?
Well, because all of this stuff is great. Film 21 days, crazy.
Right.
Hard to do when you're making a movie.
Right.
However, I just think that if for what you're getting out of Halloween, I think you can just watch a different, better movie.
Okay.
Not Halloween's fault.
Yeah.
Halloween was the original, but when you set a bar, it's only going to be there to get passed.
Right.
That's all that happens when you set a bar is it's going to get passed eventually.
So it's a kill for you.
I'm going to say it's a kill. I feel like you got something else you can watch.
It's a thrill for me, so we'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah.
It's
it depends
50-50.
who you like more.
Toss a coin in the air. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's who's better, and it's me.
It's me.
Okay. The next one is Beetlejuice, which was directed by Tim Burton and released in 1988.
I'm sorry, did you say Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. That's 3 times, Mason.
All right. Yeah, dude. This is a thrill for me.
Thrill.
It's absolutely. Again, I think this is a movie you could probably watch anytime. Mm-hmm. But I love this. Did we mention who the director was?
Yeah, Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. I mean,
which
you all know Tim Burton.
Yeah, I think we've got like 2 other of his movies on this film because he's just a weird like gothic kind of. I don't know. He just makes weird stuff that it's like,
he's like he makes goth movies for goth kids.
Yeah.
No, Michael Keaton plays the titular character Beetlejuice. His performance is, I mean, it's mwah. Like it is so good. I like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I love his performance. He's so crazy. He just is like, Tim Burton was just like, crank it, man. Crank it all the way up to 10. Let's punch this. Let's get it. And he was like, I'm going for it.
All right.
It's great. It's crazy. It's fun. I don't want to ruin it, but it's super good. The effects hold up. Mm-hmm. It was made in 88, and the effects still look like really, really good. They're practical. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thrill for me, too.
When a teenage girl is possessed by a mysterious entity, her mother seeks the help of 2 priests to save her daughter. It's The Exorcist.
Oh, okay.
That's our next movie.
Well, that was really...
This is your show.
That was you?
This is your show, and I have to introduce the movies.
So, The Exorcist.
The Exorcist.
1973. Yeah, directed by William Friedkin.
Yeah.
Friedkin.
Yeah.
Friedkin. Okay. It's a spook.
This is okay. It's a great movie, but I don't know anything about the director.
I don't
the
either.
actors in it. It was before my time.
Right. All I know is that at its time it was considered like highly controversial. There was like a lot of stuff that supposedly went on behind the scenes, like spooky ghost stuff, spooky curse stuff, spooky demon stuff.
Yeah.
And I know for the time it was terrifying.
Oscar winner for best screenplay.
Oh wow.
Oscar winner for best sound.
Oh wow.
Not too bad.
Not too bad for a horror movie.
So this is an older movie, and I know this is the oldest movie we've done by 3 years. And I feel like in theory you wouldn't think that 3 years makes a whole lot of difference, but it really does, and you can really tell because like all the pictures for the characters on IMDb, they're all over the age of 45 in their pictures. But, like, the one girl was 12 or something when she did the movie. So, I don't know. It's just, like, I don't know. It's a good movie. I'm going to say I don't even know why we're talking about this. This is The Exorcist.
Yeah, it's a thrill.
It's a thrill.
Yeah, you have
It's so scary without the jump scares. This was before your jump scares. I mean, honestly, it's a girl possessed by the devil in a room, and it's terrifying. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't pop your adrenaline up or anything, but it's, like, creepy to watch.
All right, next up, Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's a thrill, right?
Thrill, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah, thrill. And then Nightmare on Elm Street, which was directed by Wes Craven and released in 1984. Tell us the story.
A monstrous spirit of a slain janitor.
Ooh.
seeks revenge by... I'm not laughing at janitors. I just think it's funny that they described him as a monstrous spirit of a slain janitor. Seeks revenge by invading the dreams of teenagers whose parents were responsible for his untimely death.
Right, and
Petty.
remember, he's seeking revenge on the parents who killed him for being a pedophile.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so it's
his-
really like... I guess he is... No, I guess monstrous was
he
the right
had
word,
it coming
wasn't it?
to him. Like, it's not like you
Yeah.
can be like, I was an innocent man who was murdered.
This is a fun movie. I don't know. I love these older movies.
The effects are very, like, when was this?
84?
So the effects are very 80s. It's got that classic where you lay like a latex thing and then you stretch it and you're like, ooh, what's in the
there's
wall?
like fog machines on the set.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good movie, I guess.
Wes Craven's
Johnny
good.
Depp's in it.
Yeah, that's right. He gets...
A young Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Watch it. I'm going to give it a throw.
Yeah, same for me, throw. The first one, yeah. I mean, the sequels...
It's a lower one. It's one of those ones, again, where it's
a
like...
thrill.
Yeah, it's a thrill.
Not
Watch
a
it.
thrill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friday the 13th, directed by Sean S. Cunningham and released in 1980. Fun fact, this movie features a young Kevin Bacon. But yeah, Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
directed by Sean S. Cunningham and released in 1980.
right?
Thrill or kill, Mason? I mean, what's the story first? Tell us the story.
Right, so a group of camp counselors are stalked and murdered by an unknown assailant while trying to reopen a summer camp, which, years before, was the site of a child's drowning.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know.
I watched this for the first time last week.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When you watch it, it feels like it's a movie older than The Exorcist.
Right.
This is where filmmaking comes in. Where you watch it and you're like, this is less modern than The Exorcist made,
Than 1973's The Exorcist.
So 7 years earlier. An Exorcist came out, which holds up more than this movie
Yeah.
does. And that's not to say this movie's bad. Here's the thing. We've been thrilling left and right, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I didn't keep a tally.
Yeah.
But we've been all thrills and like 2 or 3 kills.
Yeah.
And we can't just give you guys a list of like 50 movies to watch.
Right.
I'm going to get a little stricter, all right? I'm buckling down. I'm going to kill this movie. That sounded aggressive. I'm going to say this movie is a kill for me just because I don't think there's nothing this movie's going to give you that you're not going to get from a better movie later on.
It's a slasher, and it's one of like the first early slashers.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you
That's
can
the
skip
thing.
it.
A lot of this list is like the epitome, like the original movie that started these like these genres and stuff, and like it started a bunch of copycat movies, and they're good, but I just think they've been done a little bit better.
Right. So yeah, I don't. Like I said, I watched this for the first time last week, and I remember going, yeah. Like,
it's not our
got
fault.
some interesting kills, but it's like it's
not
nothing
our fault.
To,
We were born into this technology. It takes
Oh,
a lot
boy,
to
here we
get
go.
to get us young generation
boy.
riled up and afraid. It does. I'm not kidding. I mean,
No,
it just
it
happens,
does. Yeah,
you know.
just
You watch because it's like we get to see
we
such
become more
realistic gore and
desensitized,
stuff
yeah.
now in movies that
Yeah.
when you watch these practical effects, there's something to be there's something to be lost.
I mean, Kevin Bacon wears a Speedo in this.
It's
So
a
if
thrill.
anything,
I
watch it
changed
for
my
that.
mind. It's a thrill.
Yeah, it's a kill for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a kill.
All right, next up, and I want to know your opinion. Actually, I think it was you or Cheyenne that suggested this one. Is The Cabin in the Woods, directed by Drew? Is it Goddard?
Yeah, I think it's Goddard.
Goddard, and released in 2012. Which I didn't know this until today, but he's the showrunner for Daredevil, or he like got it started.
Oh, that's neat.
That's
Yeah,
pretty,
yeah.
which is good. Good
Yeah,
Netflix show.
no. So here's the thing about this movie. It's fantastic. It's an absolute thrill. You guys need to watch it because this is what I'm talking about. It's a modern movie. So it's got that like, cause it's got that thing that'll keep you on your seat, that'll keep you interested.
Yeah.
It's written by Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Who, I love Joss Whedon. He's a good writer. He did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a
Firefly.
good show. He did Firefly, which
Yeah.
I love. So, okay, so this is great. This is a deconstruction, right? You've got 5 friends go for a break to a remote cabin where they get more than they bargained for, discovering the truth behind a cabin in the woods. It is the horror story. It's the most classic 5 teens in a remote location get attacked and have to survive.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of Evil Dead tones in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 teens is
Well,
exactly.
yeah, I mean,
how
it's
many
got your
they have.
archetypes. You got like the jock,
Yeah.
and like the nerd and all those people.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Joss Whedon is such a sharp writer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, witty and just it's like a whip crack. It's so,
Right.
like sharp. The writing's great. The story's got twists into it that keeps it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The acting is good. It's got Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely thrill 100%. Watch Cabin in the Woods this Halloween.
I would agree as well. It's a thrill because I think it's very much like Scream, where it was one of these movies that came along and it was like it took a genre that was like and then it was like boom, here's
Released
something
in
new.
2013. Let me throw that out there.
Was it 2013 or 2012?
2013.
Okay.
So it's got that, but it's like it doesn't. It's not. It's reinventing the genre.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's telling a classic story in a new way that you haven't seen before. It's so good.
And I remember. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I watched it, I was confused because I didn't understand it. Right.
Yeah.
And then with each time that I went back, I was like, oh man, this is interesting.
I feel like it's hard to get into horror movies because the first watch, you know, you're so busy being like startled and on edge by what's happening that you don't get to like let the sink in, like the craft of the filmmaking and the sharp writing and the acting. It's like that doesn't sink in until your second or third watch around when you're like, oh man, this is like a good movie too.
Right.
Yeah. So it's great.
It's definitely thrill.
Yeah.
Up on that list. All right, The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Kubrick? Is it Kubrick or Kubrick?
Are you
Kubrick.
English or American?
Neither.
Okay, well, I mean, like...
Yeah, I'm American.
So, we say Kubrick.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure England, it's pronounced Kubrick.
So Kubrick.
Stanley
Kubrick.
Kubrick.
Which was released in 1980.
And it's great.
I've not seen The Shining. Okay. It's on my list.
So, let's compare... I'm going to compare this to the Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Because we talked about that one feeling old, right?
Uh-huh.
This movie made the same year... the filmmaking and the craft. I'm just gonna nerd out on that for just a second. It's great. It's immaculate.
I should have picked a Kubrick film.
Stanley Kubrick is like he's the guy. He's the director. You know what I mean? For me, anyway.
Yeah.
But he's got clout. He's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this movie's gonna be a kill though.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's not a good popcorn movie. The Shining is like a sludge. It's like Kubrick is like, I'm gonna punch you in the subconscious. With crazy layouts, like I could do an entire hour on just how crazy The Shining is.
So it's a kill then.
But it's a great movie. You guys should watch it if you get the chance. I wouldn't put it on the top of your Halloween list though.
Okay. What about Psycho, which was directed by Alfred Hitchcock and released in 1960? Yeah.
That's the noise. That's the music
noise,
cue.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the noise that Alfred Hitchcock made when he told people about the movie. They're like, "What's your new film?" And he's like, "Oh, it's called Psycho." And then he was like,
hold on. Oh yeah, no. Come in.
Oh, hello.
Hello, I'm Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh wow, thank you for stopping in.
Have you seen my movie, the Psycho? Have you seen it?
Where
there's a scene where it's like read. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I gotta go now.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in from the afterlife. That was wow.
He was
Alfred
great.
Hitchcock just came in. Where did he come from? What?
No. Okay. This is a really hard one. I don't know. Do you have an opinion? I want you to go first.
I haven't seen it. It's on the top of my list.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like next watch. That American Psycho.
I'm gonna go ahead and kill it. For the same reason as The Shining.
I've watched the Vince Vaughn one, the 98 one.
There's a Vince Vaughn Psycho?
Yeah, they remade it 98.
Well, I know there were more Psychos. I just didn't know Vince Vaughn was in one.
He played
Norman Bates?
Norman Bates in the 1998 one. I've watched that one. All right, next up is one by one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright and released in 2004.
Oh, it's immense. It's an immense thrill.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure.
I definitely didn't mean to say immaculate and said immense instead. Anyway,
what's the story, Mason?
So, a man decides to turn his Oh no! I didn't expect to run into a word I wasn't going to be able to pronounce from my memory, because this is a memory.
Oh, right.
So a man decides to turn his boring life around and win back his ex-girlfriend, reconciling his relationship with his mother and dealing with an entire community that has returned from the dead to eat the living.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. The first of the Cornetto trilogy.
Which with Edgar Wright.
With Edgar Wright, yeah.
Yes, it's great. So it's written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, who are a fantastic writing team.
They are.
They're really funny.
It's good because, one, it's a zombie film, so you can't go wrong with that. It's got Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, hilarious like acting duo.
Yeah.
And then it's Edgar Wright's
who's
director,
like easily one of the most prolific and top tier directors working today.
Because like in this film, the biggest thing, the reason why I'm an Edgar Wright fan is the transitions, his cuts.
Yeah.
And this film is like, it was like, oh, let me show you what I can do, baby.
Yeah.
And he was like, boom, 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 all these cuts, and it's like, your head is going like, wow, that
It's
really
like,
works.
I can't. This okay, so the only way I can explain Edgar Wright is gonna be like the term hat on a hat.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this isn't gonna make any sense unless you already know what I'm talking about. But to me, Edgar Wright is like, he's like a modern action-y Wes Anderson.
Yes.
He's got this weird like style, and it's fantastic. It's just really good. It's so quick.
Yeah.
I was talking about sharp writing earlier. Edgar Wright is just, it's on point, on a dime.
Right.
He's so fast. The wit is so dry and great. It's all good.
It's a thrill for me.
It's an absolute thrill. I forgot we were doing
Edgar Wright at his best.
Silence of the Lambs, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, are we just gonna jump right into it? Or? Okay, Silence of the Lambs, directed by Jonathan Demme, and released in 1991.
A young FBI candidate must receive the help of an incarcerated, manipulative cannibal killer to help catch another serial killer, a madman who skins his victims alive. It's great. Anthony Hopkins is a treasure. I feel like I don't watch enough Anthony Hopkins movies.
Yeah.
He's super good.
Yeah, he is.
He's in this movie.
My favorite of his movies is Transformers: The Last Night. Please don't watch that film. Do yourself a favor.
That's a kill.
That's it. Yeah.
No, but so Jodie Foster's, who's also great. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this movie's. Oh, this is actually kind of a hard one. I don't know. I want to hear your take on it.
I haven't seen it.
What are you doing? Is this how you run your show so you don't have to do any research? You just bring other people on to do it?
Yeah, this time, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't seen it, but I know the entire storyline.
Hello, Clarice.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to quote the movie.
I think it's more of a...
Anthony, okay, so here's the thing. Anthony Hopkins is so creepy in it. He's such a phenomenal, killer. It's really good. The other guy, the guy who plays the actual serial killer.
What's his name? Is it Buffalo Bill or something?
Well, yeah. His name's Buffalo Bill. I don't remember who the actor is that plays him, but he's creepy and good. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a kill because I'm tough on movies. This is tough on movie Mason. Yeah. Just because it's a slower burn. Okay. I guess I don't even know. I don't even know what my criteria is anymore. I'm just doing this by feel now.
All right, The Conjuring, directed by James Wan and released in 2013.
Yeah, do it. Watch it. It's a thrill. I mean, it's just it's hard to fail. It's like I said, it's a blockbuster horror movie.
And also it earned an R rating because it was so scary.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah. It, directed by Andres
this is the new It.
And released in 2017. Yes,
this is the
new It. It's funny, and Skarsgård is unsettling in his performance as Pennywise.
Ooh, gives me the chills.
He's just... he did a lot of that contortionist stuff.
I mean, it's got a lot of child actors, and they're good for the most part.
Yeah.
They're not bad performances, and I mean, that's a lot when you have child actors.
Yeah.
Especially when they're taking the brunt of a role.
It's a thrill because I think there's good enough jump scares where it gives you that suspense and the
but it doesn't do it over. It doesn't do it to death. It's not cheap.
And then I think it's a creepy clown, and it's
good.
All right. The Descent, directed by Neil Marshall and released in 2006. Now, I have not seen this one. I'll be fair.
It's a phenomenal horror movie.
I know enough about it to where just knowing about it makes me go, whenever I think about it.
Creepy.
I need to watch it, but then also I'm like, I don't want to watch it because I'm going to be creeped out.
So, a caving expedition goes horribly wrong as the explorers become trapped and ultimately pursued by a strange breed of predators underground. It's really good. It changes a lot of things that you didn't because there's not a lot of cave horror movies, or there weren't until The Descent came out.
Yeah.
But it does it really well. I mean, first you get it's scary because they're in this really tiny cave, and it's claustrophobic, and they do that really well. It really makes you feel oh, I can't move. I just gotta stretch out.
Mm-hmm.
And then these monsters come in, and it's really scary. So I'm gonna give it a thrill because I have yet to see anything do it as well or just like it. So
I'm gonna give it a thrill too, and I haven't even seen it, but like I need to see it. It's
you should. It's got a beautiful ending shot too.
Yeah. Okay. Jeepers Creepers, directed by Victor Salva and released in 2001.
This was the first horror movie I ever saw.
Oh wow!
And it was so scary to me as a child.
I was terrified.
I
of
was
this movie growing
so
up.
afraid of this movie.
We had tall grass, not even like cornfields. We had tall grass behind where I lived,
Right.
and I was terrified of it for the summer.
If you are listening to this and you are in 5th grade, watch this movie. It's terrifying. Once you watch it as an adult, because I rewatched it later in life and was like, what is happening? It's not so great.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I'm going to give it a kill because it's not near as good in hindsight as it was when I was like, but if you're hosting like a Halloween party for like children or something.
Yeah.
And like I don't really know the context of that. Like if you've got like a 5th grader brother or something and he's got a Halloween party, this is like the edgiest movie you want to do. It's like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember at the time it horrified me, but now looking back on it, I'm like, there's not anything really that makes me go, this is a must watch. It's like, I mean, the songs, the jingles.
Jeepers Creepers.
Where'd you get those peepers?
Yeah, no, it's
Jeepers,
good. He like steals eyeballs, basically.
Where'd you get those eyes?
Thing.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good movie. Watch it if you're young, but I'm going to go ahead and say
I would
that
say
this is a kill.
All right. Alien, directed by Ridley Scott and released in 1979.
Oh, boy. Hey, you see that?
Oh, he's got an alien tattoo.
I've got an alien tattoo.
Yeah.
I love Alien and Aliens. They're so great. I told you I was going to go talk about Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
She is... I got to... First things first. A space merchant vessel perceives an unknown transmission as a distress call. It lands on the source moon and finds one of the crew attacked by a mysterious life form. They soon realize that its life cycle has merely begun. Guys, such a good movie. It's so good. Everything about it's good. It's directed by Ridley Scott. It was made in 1979. It feels like it was made yesterday. It's the filmmaking is so great. The atmosphere is phenomenal. The alien is like it's so scary. It looks like a demon. It doesn't even look like an alien that you would think of. It's so scary. I get it's a little tamer scares, I guess, compared to what you've got now. Nothing jumps out at you really, but it is such a great movie. It's science fiction. If you love science fiction, there's no more to even be said. Watch this movie. If you're in Halloween, if this is Halloween, you want to throw, because we got a lot of slashers, a lot of grounded in reality stuff. Uh-huh. You want to throw out, get a little sci-fi, get a little weird with it. This is a thrill. This is your movie. It's so good.
So it's a thrill.
It's a thrill.
It's one of those sci-fi alien films that like you gotta watch.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good. Like I said, if it's a good, because I feel like a lot of these movies are very similar. Mm. I think this is good. This will break up the monotony of your Halloween night if you're watching it.
Reanimator, directed by Stuart Gordon and released in 1985. Tell us about this movie, Mason.
Oh my goodness. A dedicated student at a medical college and his girlfriend become involved in bizarre experiments centering around the reanimation of dead tissue when an odd new student arrives at campus. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jeffrey Combs. Okay, this is an H.P. Lovecraft book made into a movie. And I love H.P. Lovecraft. Jeffrey Combs plays Herbert West, and he's so phenomenal. I know you haven't seen this movie, but it's such a great performance. He's like comes in, he's this brash kid or whatever, and he's like, you can reanimate. His whole thing is you can reanimate dead bodies or whatever. Right. And the professor's like, no, you can't. There's no way. It's impossible or whatever. So there's a scene where the doctor's talking after they have this argument, and Herbert West just starts snapping pencils or whatever, like breaking his concentration. It's so good. Mm-hmm. But this movie just took a shot of crazy sauce right from the bat. It's got, I can't explain how insane this movie is. It's such a great B movie though. This is my all-time, like one of my favorite B movies of all time. Okay. It's super cheesy. It's got all these character actors in them, no big names, and they come in and they're just like crank it to 10, crank it to 11. They all the way up to 11.
Oh wow.
They are so good. They just are overacting. It's a river of ham. It's a big old sea of ham. Just honey baked, glazed, delicious hammy actors hamming it up with cheese on top. It's cheesy and hammy, and it's a fantastic movie. You guys have got to watch it. Absolute two thrills up.
Two thrills up. Just based off of Mason's love for this movie, I'm gonna say it's a kill. It's a thrill.
Yeah,
it's a thrill.
It's a great movie. You guys, you'll hate it, but I love it. It's so much fun.
Monster House, directed by Gil Keenan and released in 2006. I actually watched this for the first time on a airplane.
I love that this movie's on here because this has a special connection to me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Monster House, right? Mm-hmm. 3 teens discovered that their neighbor's house is a real, living, breathing, scary monster house.
Yeah.
It's a simple plot. Yeah. This is a kid's movie. We should throw that out there. It's directed by Gil Keenan, but it's written by Dan Harmon.
Oh.
Do you know Dan Harmon?
Yeah, he's
great. He did Community, and he's currently writing Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And I love him. He's also got a podcast called Harmontown. Welcome to the Harmontown plug, where I just plug Dan Harmon. Yeah. We're talking Harmon. Anyway. No, I love Dan Harmon. He's a fantastic writer. You guys should follow his stuff. He wrote this movie, which immediately endears it to me, even though I think I've only seen it once and don't really remember. I do remember what about it.
I love this movie.
It really terrified
good. Me. It's one of those movies. It's like a good kids movie. Like they actually put thought into it.
Animated. Kids movie.
It's a thrill for me. It's definitely a thrill because it's scary.
Can we talk about the ending?
Yeah.
Because I got to make sure I'm remembering this right. So they this woman falls in cement in the basement of this house, and dies there.
Basically suffocates to death. Yeah.
And she becomes the monster of the house.
Yeah.
That was really scary to me as a kid.
That's a metaphor for wives.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not.
No, but I mean, that, it was I remember, because they, show her falling in the cement.
Yeah, that, and messed me up.
Oh, man.
I was like, and then it breaks, remember? He gets on top of it and it breaks and her skeleton's there. I remember going whoa, that's not okay.
Yeah,
what's going on?
It was scary. It's a scary movie.
Yeah, it's a thrill for me.
It's an absolute thrill. It's Dan Harmon also.
Yeah, I think it's the only animated movie on this list. So, yeah.
I think you're right, yeah.
I was going to throw the Charlie Brown, It's the Great Pumpkin or whatever.
Oh, that's a good movie. I love it.
But then I was like, I don't know if I should.
We could go through a whole tangent of animated ones because it's Corpse Bride, but also Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
But is that a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
Is Die Hard a Halloween movie? Or
no, it's a Christmas movie.
I messed that up. I had one job and I messed that up.
You know what? Perfect segue. Because, do you know who directed Die Hard?
Was it John McTiernan?
It was John McTiernan.
Who also directed Predator, which was released in 1987. And fun fact, filmed in Puerto Vallarta, which is where I'm from.
I thought you were from Utah.
Yeah. No. Crap. Where I was born.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Okay, guys. If you haven't watched Predator yet, I don't care. Go watch Predator right now. Turn this radio program off and go watch Predator. I don't care. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Predator. It's such a great movie.
Do it.
I can't do an Arnold accent
when he's dragging himself through the mud.
Yeah. This is where the titular line, "Run, go, get to the chopper." Yeah, this is where that's from. So, a team of commandos on a mission in a Central American jungle find themselves haunted by an extraterrestrial warrior. Oh boy,
this movie.
Good. Okay, so let me just. All right. So, 80s action movies are these movies with big, muscly men going in with huge, crazy machine guns and destroying everything in their path. The first, half of this movie is that exactly. It's these big, because it's got Jesse Ventura, the wrestler. It's got Carl Weathers, and he's ripped in it.
Yeah.
It's got, fun fact, you know what, I'll get to the fun facts later. This is hard. These are mean facts.
Yeah.
So they're these big muscly guys. They run into the jungle. They start mowing down this drug cartel basically. Yeah. But then it turns out there's an alien in it that systematically starts picking off these huge muscly machine gun guys one at a time. And I mean, these guys are no joke, big and scary.
I mean, there's a scene in Predator where I forget the actor's name. He's the black character. He's like one of the big
Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I think he walks up to Schwarzenegger and he's like,
the handshake.
You son of a bee, and then it's just like they shake hands and it just zooms in other muscles.
Great, it's like a meme now or whatever, where they like it's like the manliest handshake in cinema or whatever. But so they systematically start picking off these characters. It's deconstructing this action genre until all that's left is a huge muscly man, like covered in mud, fighting an alien, hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, it's good. It's so good because the effects were like new, like there's a lot of stuff. They hold up. Yeah, they hold up, and it's interesting how they did it. Like once you actually like get into the behind-the-scenes stuff, like there's a lot of like I think Schwarzenegger would take all the other guys like every morning they'd run, and every night they'd run, and they'd lift, and they were just.
They would it was the type of thing where they'd like bench press, then walk on the set. Yeah. So they look like even more jacked than normal.
And like they hardly slept. They just spent most of their time working out. It was, but it's so interesting because setting a film in a jungle already is going to give you a sense of uneasiness because it's the jungle, right?
Right.
But then
it's unfamiliar territory.
Yeah. So you have them in the jungle, and there's an alien. Like most alien movies before this were set in space or
you knew it was an alien movie. So that's the one thing, because at the beginning of this movie it shows a spaceship landing to Earth, and that was added like later on. Like that wasn't in the original script. But this movie would be so much powerful if you're just watching an 80s commando movie about soldiers, then all of a sudden this crazy alien starts murdering everybody.
And then also, I mean, the character of the Predator, and like he's so massive and he's so terrifying and so interesting, and it's the whole ritual and the game and the hunt.
They don't over-explain it.
Right.
There's an alien here. Right. He's killing soldiers. How are we going to figure this out?
We hardly understand why he's here, what's he doing. Mm-hmm. Like they're just like, oh yeah, he's killing people.
Yeah. And it's great. It's so good.
Is it a thrill or is it a kill though for this list?
I'm gonna say it's a thrill. I think if you're if you're looking for that thing that's gonna break that mold again, just like Alien did, it's gonna give you a little twinge of sci-fi in your horror. Let's do it. I'm gonna give it a thrill.
Yeah, I would give it a thrill too, just because I love this movie.
So good. Shane Black.
Yeah.
Who wrote this movie, helped write this movie. They couldn't afford to bring any writers down to the jungle with them, so they put him in the movie as one of the like murderers. So there's like these like 6 huge like super muscly bound dudes, and then there's this like skinny Shane Black or whatever. It's so great. He went on to direct and write this most recent Predator that just came out. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
It's not good.
Okay. All right, last one on our list is Super 8, directed by J.J. Abrams.
I haven't seen this.
And released in 2011. You haven't?
I have not.
Oh, well, it's a great film, man. You are missing out.
Well, okay, so I know it's about these kids who get a Super 8 camera.
So this is I typed in Super 8 and it brought up Super 8 motels. Let me tell you about Super 8 motels. Okay, so yeah, the story is in 1979 Ohio, several youngsters no one calls people youngsters.
That's an interesting one. Yeah.
In 1979, Ohio, several youngsters are making a zombie movie with a Super 8 camera. In the midst of filming, the friends witness a horrifying train derailment and are lucky to escape with their lives. They soon discover that catastrophe was no accident. As a series of unexplained events and disappearances follows, Deputy Jackson Lamb, the father of one of the kids, searches for the terrifying truth behind the crash. Okay, so this movie, if you like Stranger Things got a lot of influence from this. This was 2011, so it's before Stranger Things. But if you watch this movie and you watch Stranger Things, you get where they got a lot of the influence. It's a lot of young kids.
I do like Stranger
Things. It's 80s. Like it's 1979, so it's pre-80s, but it's very, and it's Abrams.
That's certainly a way to describe anything before 1980.
Pre-80s?
Pre-80s, yeah.
But it's J.J. Abrams, which I think he's a good director.
Well, yeah. I mean, he did Cloverfield, too.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good horror movie.
Yeah, that is pretty good. It's not so much, it's a sci-fi movie, more than anything.
Okay.
It's a PG-13, so I don't know that it's scary, but I think it's intriguing enough, and there's enough of the nostalgia. And again, if you like Stranger Things, it's very Stranger Things-esque. So there's enough of that for me to warrant it being a thrill.
Okay, so I'm on Netflix. I just queued Netflix up. Stranger Things is right here, right next to it is Super 8. Which one am I watching? Because if you're gonna say Stranger Things, then this is a kill, and we're gonna give Stranger Things a
watch Super 8.
Okay, watch
because
Super
it's
8?
a movie and it's good.
Is it a kill or a thrill?
It's a thrill.
It's a thrill?
Definitely, because it's sci-fi and it's like small town. What's going on? And the kids are pretty good in this movie. Like they're pretty interesting.
Okay,
they're pretty good actors.
I don't want to bring this back up. Is Dane DeHaan in this movie? I'm not. Is he? He is.
No. He's not in this.
He's
one.
in that other one where they get superhero powers. Chronicle.
That is a thrill, in my opinion. Not for this, but I think you have to watch Chronicle because it's interesting.
You are tuning in to the Dane DeHaan Hour, where we talk everything about Dane DeHaan.
His hair's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Valerian, fail.
Yeah.
Cure for Wellness, pass.
Amazing Spider-Man, good for the beginning of it. Bad for the end. He was in the second one. He played Harry Osborn.
No. But was that
Andrew Garfield? Yeah.
Rough. It's rough.
Andrew Garfield deserved better. Let's say that.
Well, listen. I mean, Andrew Garfield has lived his entire life eating lasagna and hating Mondays.
You're thinking of the wrong Garfield, man. That's Garfield the cat.
Welcome to Talking Garfield, where we're talking Garfield all day.
Andrew Garfield the cat. Anything with a name Garfield. Here we go.
Didn't we have a president named Garfield?
Yes, we did. Something Clover? No. Grover
Cleveland.
No, yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. George Garfield? James Garfield.
We're just making stuff up. I don't even know. Now I don't even think. I'm not even.
But the point is, that Super 8's a thrill. Mason, you haven't seen it, so I'm assuming it's going to be a kill from you.
I'm going to give it a thrill, too, because it sounds interesting, and I want to go watch it.
Yeah, you should. It's a good one. Okay, so those are the movies that you can watch this Halloween season.
Do you want to hear my Super 8 review?
Yeah.
The bed was too hard.
Oh wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Mason Shrader, comedy guy.
James A. Garfield, you were actually right.
Oh, okay. Thanks again, Mason, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our show. Tune in next week at the same time and on the same frequency. I've been your captain, Jose Valle, with my.
I'm going to say doctor. I'm the medical staff. I'm sure. No. Maybe you guys will see me again. I don't know. I had a lot of fun.
I think I had a lot of fun too. I think Mason will be popping up again.
Yeah.
So this has been Captain's Log, and we've reached the end of our transmission.
Nice. Boop.